We will start with just a short overview about the retail market in Europe and in Germany. And first of all, I would like to show you about the trends and the consumer appetite at the moment in Europe. What you can see on this slide is the GDP growth in Europe and in average in Europe, as you can see below in the Eurozone. And in addition, you see on the left-hand side the consumer appetite for retail. And what you can see here, it's still above the average. So you see the above average line in red and gray, and you see that the current trend for 2018 is still in a very positive mood. Of course, we always see some ups and downs, but at the moment, we are still in a consumer trend very positive. Here you can see the transaction volume in Europe for retail. You see the biggest markets with UK and Germany, following from France. What you see here on the right hand on the maps is the transaction volume only for the first half of 2018. You see about 4 billion in Germany of retail, and you see slightly below 4 million for the UK. The trend is at the moment that we are with Germany the strongest investment market for retail in this year, and last year we were same, just slightly above the UK market. So the trend here, also we see a lot of, let's say, disruptions. We still have a quite stable transaction volume. Here you see only for Germany, that's first half 2018, the whole transaction volume in the commercial market. And you see with 18% the share of retail for the current year. And if we break down this for only retail, you will see that we have a very strong demand and transaction volume on high street. That's the red part with about 50% transaction volume in high street. It's just followed by retail parks, and then you have to add the dark ones, so the black and grayish colors, and the bright gray is the shopping center investment market. The trend for the last quarter, we have just finalized now the third quarter. There we have definitely a slight slip in direction of warehouse, because we saw the big transaction of Kaufhof and Karstadt merging. And that's why we, for the last quarter now, see slightly more in that part of warehouse. Just a short view on the leasing market. What you see here is high street retail spaces in the top 9 locations in Germany. It's about, as you can see here, 2 million square meters and with 2,250 shops. That's what we analyzed to show you the following. We have on the left-hand side, that's the spaces of vacant retail spaces of the top 9 locations in Germany, which are vacant. And the interesting thing here is 64% of these vacant stores have a store size above 1,000 square meters. So what you can see is that more than half of the stores which are vacant are with bigger store sizes. On the right-hand side, you see the amount of stores. And here you can see it's slightly smaller sizes or amount of the size of stores, and the big vacancy is in rather the bigger stores. That's what you can see here quite interestingly. Here, because it's an all-mouse, is the topic of online markets. And this is a forecast until 2022, how the online markets in different retail sectors will increase. And interestingly here you see, as probably everybody can assume, is the fashion. Fashion will increase and electronics will slightly increase. And then we have also the DIY and toys in all over hobby, which we see increasing. What we don't really see increasing that much is fast-moving consumer goods. So food and drugstores, they also grow in terms of their online shares, but not as strong as in the other branches. This is also a picture just for Germany. The red one is the retail turnover all over in that sector, and the black color shows the online share. And here you see again, in the first line, you see the fast-moving consumer goods, so again, food, drugstore, etc. So we would call it daily goods. And here you see again that the share of online markets is quite small, with only almost 4%. So this is a really small part. And what you can see is that even in fashion, with 12%, we're still on a quite good average weight, and the volume is increasing, but not as fast as it was before. Lastly, we're still discussing who's expanding, so which retailers still want to go stationary. And this is just a broad overview of European labels, which are still quite expensive in the current market situation. And you see a lot of them being active in Germany, but also others we don't know in Germany yet, but are very expensive in Europe. So you see here various brands, and they range from furniture to cosmetics to textile, fashion. So you see all over a very bright range. And we don't see that there's no expansion wishes. So all these retailers are going to the market and are looking for new spaces. Lastly, as a conclusion, we see robust market, so the domestic market is quite in place, the consumer spends are okay, and we have also support by the real wages, and we have but continued the demand for rather smaller spaces or optimized spaces. So the bigger spaces are a topic here where we need to find solutions. And if you look at the physical stores, they definitely hold the value, just the growth needs to be seen a bit more restricted, so we have rather the focus on the stabilizing the current market condition. Definitely the uncertainty there because of insolvencies and news of there are relevant, but we see a stable growth still. And so in conclusion, the demand remains stable, and we still see interest in retail, and I'm sure in the panel which we have now, we see a lot of interest in retail and how retail develops in the future. Thank you very much.